So finally, saw Joker 2, Folie Deux, as some are calling it, Folie a poo poo, Folie a douche. Um, yeah. So, what do I think? I I don't hate this movie as much as some people, but I totally understand why a lot of the fans of the first movie, which I am a fan of the first movie myself. I really like the first one. Um, I was, I was surprised how good it was, honestly, because I was like, you're gonna make a movie about the Joker. I don't know if that will work. Um, and he kind of just becomes the Joker the last act, but I thought it all built up really well, really good tension, and yeah, I really liked it. And I was looking forward to the sequel, but I was like, does it need a sequel? Do you have a story to tell that people want to see? And obviously it doesn't, because this movie's bombing like crazy. It had an 81% drop off the second week, which is being reported that it's the largest drop off ever for like a big blockbuster. Not for like a little independent movie, but for like a blockbuster, studio movie. Except for Gigli with Ben Affleck. 20 years ago. So that's pretty pathetic. It has a D cinema score, which is pretty incredible. What is it? The Spirit, 2008, and Fantastic Four, or Fan Four Stick, both received C minuses. So that may be the lowest before this for a comic book movie. And it's just totally bombing. It may not even make $200 million. Its budget is $200 million. Then you have to add in marketing. So usually, like you at least 0.5 it times or double it. So 350 million is what they spent, around there maybe. And it's not going to make its money back. And I could see why. I found a lot of this movie just kind of boring, honestly. And it seems like that the director, Todd Phillips, just made this movie to kind of, I don't know, stick it to the fans of the original, it seems. I mean, people that don't like the original, I could see that why they like this. I mean, it does tell a story. It does, tell the story of Arthur Fleck. And this is all spoilers. So, and basically this movie is saying he's not Joker, he's just some dude, Arthur Fleck. And, that can be interesting, but for me, it's just not what I wanted in this sequel. He's just some sad, pathetic man that, basically one day dressed up as the Joker. He killed some people, and now he's being put on trial for it. And I just didn't find a lot of it interesting. There are some good scenes. There are some good things in here. There's sometimes when Joaquin Phoenix, I thought was kind of funny, but a lot of what's going on in this movie, I don't know, just wasn't interested in it. A lot of the musicals set pieces um are just in his head. I mean, like, are basically just in his head. Like the very extravagant sequences of him with the makeup on, and Harley Quinn with the makeup on, and the intricate backgrounds. It's all in his head. I thought Lady Gaga was okay in it. I don't really have a problem with her performance or anything like that. I was watching this review, and it's like, like the old saying, don't meet your heroes. And for Lady Gaga, like, her hero was the Joker. And she found out that, the Joker doesn't even exist. And it's just, it was a figment of his imagination that he kind of just came up with one day. And then in this movie, he kind of finally embraces the Joker. But then it's all deflated, and it seemed like at every turn this movie was getting good, and then instantly Todd Phillips and the writer Scott Silver and Joaquin Phoenix, because I mean, he came up with the idea apparently for the movie. I don't know, his name isn't on the script, but just totally deflate when the movie started getting good. Like when he is the Joker in the courtroom, and I kind of thought it was a little funny with him with the southern accent, and then the little person that's in the first movie comes out and basically explains to him that he didn't like what he did, and that he can't he can't sleep, he has all these nightmares, he can't work anymore, you've ruined his life. And then he's like I always liked you though. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I understand that, but this is like Gotham. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of like, I get what you're doing, and in reality, yeah, these things would happen, but I don't know, I just don't think it makes a good comic book movie. It doesn't make a good Joker movie. I mean, I don't know why Todd Phillips even made this. Like, just to kind of deflate and destroy what he created in the first movie. This is what it seems like. It just seems like he's like, oh yeah, you like the first movie? Well, now I'm going to make this movie, and I'm going to torpedo it on purpose. That's what this movie said to me. So, now I can see some people that say, well, it tells like a decent story of Arthur Fleck, not of Joker. And yeah, I guess I could see that. It's a very sad, dark, just very pathetic story, but yeah, I mean, I could see that. And if you enjoyed this movie, that's great. I wish I did, but I didn't really enjoy it. Like, there are a couple scenes that I liked, but then, like I say, Todd Phillips just instantly destroys and deflates what's going on. Like, when the bomb goes off and he escapes from the trial, and then some of his henchmen basically rescue him, but then he instantly is like, no, I don't want to do this, and then he escapes from the car he's in with them, and then he's kind of wandering around the city, and he sees Harley Quinn on the steps, and she's kind of waiting for him, and it's a setup. I mean, that's what I got from that, is that she was working with the police to set him up. I don't know. I mean, the movie doesn't say that, but that's what I got. That it was a setup, and she's like, I'm not interested in you. I was interested in the Joker. And earlier, he has that scene where in the courtroom where he says there is no Joker. It's just me, Arthur Fleck. And then he's arrested, and spoilers. I mean, and then he's in jail, and he's like, you have a visitor, and he goes down the hall, and then he just gets stabbed to death by some random guy that they showed like once in the movie, and then he cuts his face in the background. You can barely see it, but and then I guess he's gonna become the Joker. It's like, who cares? Like, no one cares. What are they gonna make a Joker 3? No. WB will never want to talk about this movie ever again. It's one of the biggest flops of this year. I mean, hopefully it doesn't damage the Joker character. I don't know. But yeah. And this is after he's beaten up by Brendan Gleeson, who I just found kind of annoying in this movie. Like, he's like, come on, tell me a joke, and I don't know. I just found him kind of annoying, and yeah. So yeah, so and then it's revealed that he was let's say touched as a kid by, I'm not sure what they were saying. Was it that his mom did it to him, or was it that one of her lovers that was abusive that did it to him? Because in the first movie I got that he was abused as a kid, but I never got that he was like touched inappropriately as a kid. So that's another thing in this. I mean, I think it's just kind of destroying the character and torpedoing the character on purpose, it seems like. But yeah, and Joker and Harley only met for like 5 minutes, and then she just falls in love with him. But I guess she already was in love with him, right? She already was in love with the Joker, and she's playing Joaquin Phoenix like a fiddle. I mean, she basically is the one who recreates the Joker, and then he embraces it, and then Brendan Gleeson and them do that to him and totally humiliate him, and then he's like, oh yeah, that was just all fake anyways, and he fires his lawyer, and then he represents himself. And it's like, well, I mean, you're obviously gonna lose the case. Like, you're obviously gonna lose the case, and he does, and you're gonna get the death penalty. And I mean, what is he? Does he expect to win the case? It's like, you have no chance. Like, you should just stick with your lawyer. If you're not a lawyer, you should never represent yourself. I don't know. I don't think so. Doesn't seem like a good idea. Like, for me, it's like, if you're gonna have a trial in a Joker 2 sequel about the first movie, it should just be like 5 minutes, because like, you're gonna lose. He killed someone on camera, and yeah, the whole thing in this is like he has split personalities, but then it's just revealed, no, he doesn't. He's just Arthur Fleck. He's just this like boring guy that no one really cares about. And I think that's shown in the box office, because man, is this movie flopping. So the movie's really leaning into the fact that he goes into these fantasy worlds. Like, almost all of the musical stuff is just in his head. I did like the scene where Lady Gaga like starts a fire and they're watching this movie, and then she goes in the back and starts a fire, and then they try and escape, and then she's kind of singing a little bit, but then they instantly get caught. I like that scene. I don't know. This movie's just bizarre that WB like even released it. I like the scene with him and Lady Gaga when they're in between the glass, and then she puts the makeup on the glass. That was a nice shot. I thought that was good. I mean, the movie's beautifully shot. It's it's well directed. I don't really have any problems there. I liked a lot of the music. This movie could have a good soundtrack, but oh yeah, and then the scene in the courtroom was pretty funny when Zazie Beetz was like in that terrible TV movie was made of about you, Joker. And then he, Lady Gaga told him that she thought the movie was brilliant, the TV movie. And then he turns to her and he's like, "It was bad?" And she's like, "No, it was great." I thought that was pretty funny. And yeah, and I like the scene when he's in the courtroom and he has the makeup on. And he has the southern accent. And I don't know. It's very, very weird, but I kind of enjoyed that. Although I don't think any judge would allow you to wear the makeup. I mean, you're wearing the makeup that you wore the night where you killed a bunch of people. And you're on trial for those murders. Like, would they really allow you to wear that makeup? I doubt it, but I guess I'm overthinking it. So yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of bored in the movie, and then he escapes because of the bomb, which I thought was a nice twist. But they instantly deflate it, and then she's like, "I'm not interested in you," and I think she set up the cops to get him, and they did, and then he's taken back and he's killed. So I guess that's the end of this Joker or Arthur Fleck. I don't know. They should have just stuck to one movie. I really like the first movie. I think I'll try and forget this sequel. But I don't know. It probably really hurts the first movie, honestly, because it's like, this is what happens. I mean, I think it would have been not like the sequel I think people wanted was he escapes from jail. You can have Harley Quinn there if you want with Lady Gaga, and he escapes from jail, and then there's his adoring fans. Some of them are criminals, and then he starts to build a crime empire. And then Gordon is a police officer, and he's trying to take down the new crime syndicate. And then you can have Harvey Dent as the prosecutor, and then I would have liked for them to bring in Matt Reeves' Batman, but I'm not sure if you could. But maybe just have him kind of going off against Gordon. I don't know. That maybe could have worked, but yeah, it will never happen now. So so yeah, Folie a Deux, Folie a Poo Poo, is set to lose 150 to 200 million in its theatrical run after bombing at the box office. This is Variety. So this sequel, Joaquin Phoenix says the idea of it came to him in a dream. And with a $200 million budget, this film cost more than 3 times what its predecessor cost. Lady Gaga released a companion album, Harley Quinn, on September 27th, 2024. And it was not screened for test audiences. And James Gunn gave Todd Phillips notes, so he saw a screening of it, and he gave him notes, and of course he didn't take any of the notes, because I'm sure the notes were like, you have to change the ending. like you can keep a lot of the other stuff, but you have to change the ending. And no. So this is Joaquin Phoenix's first sequel in his career. Oh yeah, and Paul Schrader, the guy who wrote the first Taxi Driver, said he hated this movie. Although he said he watched like the first 20 minutes, left, and then went to go buy some things, and then came back for the end, and he said he hated the movie. So I guess he didn't really watch the whole thing. He said, I saw about 10 or 15 minutes of it. I left, bought something, came back, saw another 10 minutes. That was enough. When questioned by Harris why he thought it was so bad, the Taxi Driver scribe laid out his grievances, no hold barred. I don't like either of those people, he said. I don't like them as actors. I don't like them as characters. I don't like the whole thing. I mean, those are people who, if they came to your house, you'd slip out the back door. I don't really agree with him on that. I mean, I like Joaquin Phoenix. He's a really good actor. I think he was great in the first movie. I think he won, I think he deserved to win the Academy Award. But yeah, this is the movie Todd Phillips wanted to make, to just torpedo the first movie. I guess to stick it to toxic fans or something like that. And yeah, they're losing a lot of money, so I don't know. But I guess that's about it. I was kind of bored the first third of the movie, then it kind of started to get more interesting, and then like I said, it just instantly deflated. But so that's some other thoughts. When in the courtroom scene, also, he never really makes any points about like how is he going to defend himself? How is he going to win this case? He makes no points, no arguments, and he questions the guy on the stand. He has this kind of like hallucination or dream or sequence in his head where he's killing the judge and killing some, and I think he kills Harvey Dent, but there's never a moment when he's actually making an argument that could possibly win him the case. So it's kind of unsatisfying there. On top of that, he then makes he insults the guards that are in Arkham, and this is what some fans are saying. I've seen this in a few reviews. I think the movie does somewhat hint towards this, because when they're beating him up and they're taking off his clothes, I mean, is there an implied violation there? Are they, violating him, the R word? I mean, is that what is going on? Like, really? Todd Phillips, you have to do that to the Joker? Because it seems that you just hate the character that you've created so much. I mean, that's what this movie's kind of saying to me. He just hates the character that he has created. So his best attempt to undo the character. And in the end, there's no comeuppance for these guards. Say before he's killed by the random dude, who is that supposed to become like Heath Ledger's Joker? Also, some people think that that's what's going on. Is that what's happening? That guy is going to become Heath Ledger's Joker? And that's just like insulting. Like, no, this isn't connected to that at all. Todd Phillips, like, stop. but there's no comeuppance for those guards for what they did to him. Like, they're not good guys, you know. So if the point of this movie is, you know, Arthur Fleck did some bad things and now he's going to get his comeuppance, well, then shouldn't they have gotten their comeuppance too? Right? Maybe before that random guy kills him, he kills Brandon Gleeson, and, you know, he attacks him, he beats him up, he kills him, and then you can have the scene where he's killed, I guess, you know, Todd Phillips can. Yeah, so, you know, just some other thoughts about the movie, as well as the musical numbers that are in the movie. Most of them don't seem to progress the plot forward at all, or the story. They almost just seem to exist for the pure aspect of having a few musical numbers in the movie, which is kind of odd and a waste of time. Usually musicals, when they have the musical sequences, they're there to progress the story and the plot forward more. But they just kind of happen, and a lot of them are just in Arthur's head, like I mentioned before. And to me, that's kind of disappointing, and just not a good choice. But, I mean, some of them were really nice to look at, you know, definitely. Like, apparently in one, apparently I heard in a review that Todd Phillips had a connection to John Wayne Gacy, because one of his first movies or short films, he contracted out some art of a clown. Like, the movie involved the clown, and John Wayne Gacy drew a poster for it, for one of the posters that was used in for the marketing for the movie. And apparently in one of the scenes in the background it says Pogo. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, you know, Phillips has a connection to John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, and then later he would make a movie about a killer clown, Todd Phillips, and then he would make Joker Folie Deux. So, but yeah, just kind of unsatisfying. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen or anything like that. Anyone that says that, I think that's ridiculous. Like I said, there are some good things in it. There's some other things I like too. But, you know, it's just one of the most disappointing movies that I've seen in a while. Because I was looking forward, you know, to the sequel. But, you know, unfortunately, it didn't really work out. I mean, it opened worse than Morbius, which is crazy. Like, Morbius got over 40 million. This got less than 40 million its opening weekend. Is this better than Morbius? Yeah, I would say it's better than Morbius. I mean, this movie I found, you know, boring in many parts, but Morbius, I think, is a worse movie, worse directed, and definitely more boring. So, but yeah, I think that's about it though. Joker 2, definitely a letdown. I don't know why they made it. So, see you next time.